With that, let's welcome Bernie Kosar to the show. What's up, Bernie?
Hey guys.
How are you, brother?
I'm doing very good. With our first W and guards in the playoffs.
Life doesn't get any better, does it?
And a beautiful day like today.
I know.
Top down.
And not supposed to be windy on Sunday. So
Deshaun Watson looked better in Jacksonville, but still not 200 yards passing, didn't throw for a touchdown. What's your assessment after week 2 of our quarterback?
So seeing how we felt last week, 0-1, and how challenging the whole offense and whole game was, to use the Jimmy Johnson line, somehow, some way, any way, figure out a way to get a W, albeit Sunday's game wasn't aesthetically pleasing nor fun to watch from an offensive artistic standpoint.
It was ugly, but
It was, but typically, and I say this in Cleveland for myself as I was playing, I had to really check my ego at the door, and I had to really realize my stats aren't going to be as good as maybe the other guys around the league, because physically it's challenging to play in Cleveland and throw the ball. But I had to be comfortable with that on that any given Sunday, though, my stats are going to be better than the other team's quarterback, and we were going to end up with a W. So I had that mindset, so I was wanting to just win like that. And I know we weren't playing in Cleveland last week. We were playing in Jacksonville, which sounds like nice weather and Florida weather. It was not nice down there. It basically rained the whole game, and it rained with 15 to 20 mile an hour winds. So for the game 2 of the season, after such a dismal offensive performance in game 1, I absolutely love what we did from a schematic standpoint of just like we started the game. Foreman didn't carry the ball at all in the Cowboys game, yet we start out play 1 of the Jacksonville game with extra lineman in the game, and Nick Harris as the H-back with a power jumbo formation running Foreman right up the middle at a really good Jacksonville defensive line that's more accustomed, though, to pass rushing defensive ends. So what we probably wanted to do against Dallas, we rectified, added it into more of the game plan, physical game planning in game 2. And I think that was the reason Deshaun played better. Yeah, not perfect yet, but and the offensive line played better, and they're easing their way into it. And I think that's the building blocks that we needed to see.
One guy who's off to a terrible start, I just yelled at Mike for making too much of 2 weeks, so I don't want to make too much of it. But Amari Cooper is off to a very rough start. I think he's got 6 catches on 17 targets. What's been completely out of character for him is the drops. What do you make of an anomaly, bad start, he'll be fine? Or are you any concerned at all?
So I absolutely have been paying attention to that, and it's almost like I did the production meeting and we talked in advance as to what we're going to talk about. So that's the main thing I wanted to talk about today, and I know people want to talk about me and Deshaun and the quarterback stuff, which we started out with. But I really like Amari Cooper. I'm a fan of Amari Cooper before this season. And then when the stuff happened with the possible trade, I didn't think I could become more of a fan of his. But the way he handled that possible Brandon Ayuk trade in Frisco, I became even more impressed with him. And then that press conference he did yesterday, I love him even more, and I didn't think that was possible. And for him as a player to sit up there and say, maybe I am struggling a little bit because I miss some OTAs and that stuff.
That's hard to do.
That's impossible to do. As guys, young guys and young players, and I know me, I like to be incredibly open and stuff, but at that age and in that situation, I wasn't that open. Whether it was not being honest to you guys, but mainly it wasn't being honest to myself, okay? And you don't even think like that, let alone admit like that. So for him to have that come to Jesus talk yesterday from a heartfelt thing, I think that's awesome, even more so of him. I think that resonates for players too. Gives everybody the way to say, if somebody we look up to, Amari Cooper, is pointing the finger at himself, maybe I should have worked harder, maybe I should second guess what I'm doing from a preparation standpoint, maybe I should take practice a little more serious now, like I did earlier in my career, I think that's going to pay massive dividends to the team. I believe if I'm the Q, I'm looking him up this week. He is for sure getting north of 3.5 catches and getting more than 51.5 yards if I'm his Q, because I love that, and that type of accountability, and
You don't see that every day.
you don't see that. So yeah, I would have sat here and said, yeah, I'm a little concerned, but now, man, hitting that right in the face like that, and that's just, people say, oh, it's superficial, or oh, we should say that. That's super hard to say, even when you know it's true. And that for him to be the instigator of saying that, my hat's off to him. If I had a cool looking hat like you,
I'll let you borrow that.
Oh my gosh, you're styling today.
I'm trying to, man.
What's the name of this outfit?
Listen right here. This is. Let me think about it, man.
Okay, think about it.
All right.
Think about it.
Let me give you this, Bernie. 300 is the new 200 now. What's up with the passing yards, right? People talk about outlaw cover 2, like cover 2 is something new, like 2 deep safety ain't new. What do you give to people out there is your reasoning for why people ain't throwing the ball around the park? Is it the defense? Is it the offense? Is it just the check down nature of what's going on right now? Why do you think as a quarterback?
So I do believe a half dozen years plus ago, we were really fixated in the drop back, spread receiver, run and shoot type concepts, and really kind of got away from the physical running, play action type games, and the type of offenses that caught people off guard 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago. They caught us off guard. We caught them off guard, the defenses, but now the defenses have caught up, and they could defend that spread type stuff, and now having those lighter, faster guys is more conducive to pass rushing in that. So again, checking your ego at the door, realizing, you said it beautifully, that the 200 is the old 300, and you have to be satisfied with that as long as you're getting W's is something that I also think they're also letting guys be a little more physical in terms of the pass rush.
What do you think, kind of along those lines, we just did a story at The Athletic on all of this stuff. And one of the things that I was told was offensive line play isn't as good today, and defensive linemen are freaks of nature that we've never seen before in terms of size, strength, and speed. Do you notice that? Is the line play different today? Do you think the offensive line play is worse today than it was 5 or 10 years ago? And do you think defensive linemen are more agile and stronger than we've ever seen?
Jason,
does that have anything to do with
spot on? So coupled with the first stuff I was saying, and then because I felt like I was being too windy, I just said in passing at the end that the defensive line and the pass rush is getting better. That's spot on it. I mean, in my day, a 300-pound defensive lineman was running 5'3", 5'4", and he got around 5'1", and that we thought he was the second coming of God, So let alone these guys running 4.7s, 4.8s, and bench pressing what they're doing. So that's absolutely happening. Coupled with all of this practice, and I understand, and you can't hit and do practice like we used to in the old days of blitz drill and how to pick up protections and do inside drill and running. So offensive linemen are a little bit of a disadvantage on their technique. Plus, the passing game is is 75% of most passes these days are almost less than a second. They're then bubble screens, quick, real quick. Well, linemen, they don't know most of the time, they don't know if that was a quick bubble screen from me to you, okay, where Bull's slipping out in front of me, or it's a circle square in where I got to get the Mike backer to jump on the circle to get the 18-yard square in behind it that takes, 2.7 to 3.2 seconds. And you're not asking them to do that as much. And then when you do that, I'm used to only blocking for half a count, 3/4 of a count. Everything's not a screen. In my day, there was 3 to 5 screenplays a game. And now there's 3 to 5 screenplays a quarter.
Well, right along those lines, so we it's only 2 weeks. Only 2 weeks. The 25% of the passes are at or behind the line of scrimmage this year across the NFL.
Right.
And guys that you would not expect to be included in that are included in that, like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. We talked to them for the story that I just wrote yesterday. If I'm an owner, and again, it's only 2 weeks, but clearly this is the trend of short and quick all around the league, short and quick. Where does
That's dangerous, too, because you lose the ability, because you start thinking you're doing good by blocking for a second.
Yeah.
And you could do that in non-violent situations and typically in non-stressful situations. But in the playoffs and in stressful big games, the good teams don't let the circus plays work.
Well, and maybe I'm way too early on this, but if I'm an owner, I'm looking around going, why am I paying my quarterback $50 million to take the snap and do this? And like, this is what Mahomes and Josh Allen are doing, taking the snap and going here, snap and going there. Where is this going? Like, are we going to get back to, because we talked to Josh for the story, and Josh said, both Mahomes and Josh Allen said there are not as many opportunities down the field as there were 5 years ago. I think the playoff game in 2021 broke the NFL. That as soon as Mahomes and Allen put on that display in that playoff game,
pivoted.
That's when we went back to the the split safety look, and that's when scoring came down, everything started to change.
Yeah, keeping everything in front of you.
So
Yes.
where is this go? Because again, like I don't know. Everyone talks about quarterback salaries getting out of control. Well, if all you're doing is asking them to do this, that's not worth 45 or 50 million until you get to the last 2 minutes of the game and you got to go. So I'm just
get it.
wondering where
So I get exactly where you're at, and I really like it because I haven't thought about it from that perspective of it. But I don't get offended by the game manager statement. So I would call me a good game manager. I had to do and manage the game, and I look for my opportunities. And when you get out of your too deep, I'm going to jump on you with the blitz pickups. And I did love too deep because the fades in the middle of the field were open. For stuff like that. So there's a lot of us that could throw 70% of those plays and 25% of them behind the line of scrimmage, even today as an old man. But where Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are the separators is most good games, clutch games come down to 3 to 7 plays, clutch, tough plays, offense, defense, special teams. And sometimes it's you'd like to make them, but sometimes it's also you don't make the screw-up mistake, too. And in those games where 95% and 90% of your plays could be done by anybody or most of us, there's only a few Josh Allens and Patrick Mahomes in those 6 to 10 plays where the trick play, the gimmick doesn't work, and they're just Houdinis at getting out of it. Josh Allen running people over for a first down. Patrick Mahomes behind the bass, underhand, sidearm type stuff. Those guys, make it worth it if you want to win a championship.
Monday night, Kirk Cousins did just that.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins was having an okay game. That was it. And then he needs a 2-minute drive, and he throws 3 balls down the field that the seasoned veteran quarterback, who's in that upper echelon of pay, are expected to make. And he made it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's walking off the field a winner, and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah, Jay, I get goosebumps thinking about that. You're right, and I don't mean this as a sound bite, but he played massively pedestrian bad.
Yes.
Okay, for 3.5 quarters, and then he's the man at the end. God bless you, and that's all that really matters. Again, somehow, some way, you just have to get a W. And I know we're bummed out a little bit about the Browns offense this week and stuff. We're talking about it. But at the end of the day, we're 1-1. I know the crap that's going on in Dallas. Joe Burrow's 0-2. The Ravens are 0-2 with games they each could have won and stuff. So to have what's going on now is, I love this Kevin Stefanski, let's win the week one game at a time, because we could easily creep into, this is a nice part of the schedule where we could, despite how we felt after the Cowboys game, we could be the sweetest team in what we thought was the toughest division in the NFL.
Got to stack wins the next couple of weeks.
Both Denzel and Myles Garrett are banged up. How concerned Are you?
You're bringing me down off my high.
Sorry,
I
I'm
am,
sorry.
brother. Yes.
Because the offense is struggling, they need the defense to play great.
Yes.
Right? And it's hard to do that with Denzel Ward and Miles banged up.
Well, and also, too, we're a complimentary football team now. That was beautifully done in Jacksonville. None of it was overly artistic, but yet in crunch time, each 3 phases of the game did the dominant thing to get the W. I really like how Denzel's been playing, and of course, on Miles and stuff. So, Denzel and the concussions and the ankle is one thing. This is a shoulder that he may have gotten early in the game. They had him come on that pitch count. I don't even want to say on film if I was Brian Dable, and what I was offensively, what I would be doing to test Denzel early in terms of running the ball at him and forcing him to make a couple tackles.
See what he has.
Yeah, you don't want him to. And I would caution Denzel, let's try to stay out of, those type of contact points because we need them, and it is only week 2. So it is something where you don't want something lingering all through the season.
Yeah.
Bernie, thanks for stopping by. It's always good to see you.
Good to see you
How are
again.
you feeling before we let you go?
I'm feeling phenomenal.
Everything good?
Yes, I had my doctor appointment on Monday, and I actually came from a little blood work right now to where they think I am fudging my blood work. I look so healthy.
How's the baby? How's your grandkid?
Oh, and Grandpa Bernie is, yes.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's
Yes.
good. Can you imagine, who's your grandpa? Bernie Kosar.